I was right about game one. They did stomp them. The Celtics stomped the Mavericks in game one. I was right about that, but I thought the Mavericks would respond in game two, but I tell you what, the Kyrie, he needs to burn a lot more sage at the Garden because...
Dude, I don't know what that is. Like,
sorry your Lakers didn't get their coach.
I don't think it was a real thing anyways. I think that was like some propaganda to get him raised at UConn. It just happened it happened so quickly. It was like a 2 to 3 day thing, and then he posted on Twitter that he was taking the job at LA.
Oh, really?
Like, is this real? And then I don't know. I don't know if that would have worked out.
No, I don't think LeBron would. I don't think him and LeBron would get along a little too. He seems a little too jacked up on Mountain Dew.
Yeah, I mean, he's a college coach too. Like he's good for 18, 19, 20-year-old blood that kind of, we kind of still need to be told what to do. But once you have 25, 30-year-olds in the league that are making 40, 50 million a year, they're not going to listen to you like that. I mean, that's
go ahead.
That's the Saban to Miami, kind of tactic.
Yeah. I did read he gets free wings for life at a local wing stop or something like that. So, pretty good deal.
I mean, that's enough to make me stay there.
For life? So, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah. Free wings? Shoot, let's go, boy.
Let's go. Well, it's not quite going to be Mavs in 6, I don't think.
I mean, it still could be if they go 4-0 from here on out. But, yeah, it's maybe Mavs in 9.
9, 15, 83.
Yeah. No, it's been interesting.
I was right about game one. They did stomp them. The Celtics stomped the Mavericks in game one. I was right about that, but I thought the Mavericks would respond in game two, but I tell you what, the Kyrie, he needs to burn a lot more sage at the Garden because...
Dude, I don't know what that is. Like, he hasn't played well. I mean, what is it, the 0-12 since stomping on... What's the guy's name?
Oh, Lucky.
Lucky, yeah. And then... Yeah, the first 2 games here, I mean, averaging 14 points. He hadn't done his part. And it's kind of like I was texting y'all the other night. It's like, Luka was 32, 11, 11. And he's getting his 30. He's doing his thing. It's like, Kyrie's got to step up. But how do you want to approach it? You want to talk to game 1 and game 2 at the same time or break them down?
Let's break them down. Let's do game 1, then game 2. Break them down. And I had predicted the Celtics would stomp them. Now, like, I'm a super fanboy, so like I'm not gonna go in the game hopeless. The Mavs were up halfway through the first quarter, 15-14. I was feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
And then, dang, Kristaps came in. Gosh. And it's like everything went in. Just incredible.
Insane. Well, here's my question about him, and I noticed this in game 2. He had one possession where he got Luka under the basket and in a post up, and he was pretty aggressive, like trying to get the ball.
Right.
Like I know they neither one of them have addressed it, and allegedly they have a good relationship. But do you think there's a little bad blood?
I think so. I mean, Luka's a psycho competitor.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, and there might have been some. Who's the leader of the team when he was in Dallas. KP doesn't have the maturity that he had then, or he didn't have it back then that he does now.
Getting shipped to Washington will do that for you. I'll tell you what.
That'll help you.
But the thing about his tenure in Dallas is, man, when he was on the court, it was good. It's just he wasn't on the court enough. He missed a lot of the games, and he never got rolling, and that's why they traded him. Nico Harrison, the Mavericks GM, was basically like, we got 2 players for 1. That's kind of what we thought. And they shipped a first rounder. They got Spencer Dinwiddie, I forget who else, for Kristaps, and they had to ship a draft pick too. So it was pretty crazy that to ship that away. But yeah, he couldn't miss, and to the point where it all just went, the bottom fell out. Mavs were up 15-14. You blink at the end of the first quarter, 6 minutes later, it's 37-20. And they got up as much as 29 before Luka kind of drug them back in the third quarter. But then the Celtics once again got hot. They got it within 8, and then it just they just buried them. Just buried them.
I will say when they got it within 8, and Luka kind of gave that, that nod to the crowd. I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, they're going to come back and win this first game. Like we may still game 1, but we couldn't hold on. It started to kind of feel like we were just making good TV for a little bit.
It reminds me, there was an article about the Warriors in 2015, 2016 called The Scariest 3 Minutes in Basketball. Scariest 2 minutes in basketball. I forget what it is, but it was about a run they went on and that they were going on all the time where you'd be up 1 or down 1. You'd be in the game, hovering. Warriors would hit a 3. You'd miss a shot. They'd hit a 3. You get a turnover. They'd hit a 3. Something else. They'd hit a 3. And it was 5 possessions, 5 threes in a row. And you blink, you go from down 1, 2 minutes later, you're down 16. And that seems to be what's going on in both game 1 and game 2, especially with Kyrie being so bad. And the other Mavericks not really stepping up is, man, you're getting it close, getting within 8, getting within 7, and then you blink and it's 20 again. In game 1, the Mavericks had 9 assists as a whole. Luka averages 9.5, like almost 10, 9.8 by himself. So the Mavs were 1 of 6 on open shots, but that were Luka passes. So like he could have easily had 4 or 5 assists, but they're just bricking the shots. And in game 2, kind of switching over that, it's bad when PJ Washington is your second best player. Like that's a problem.
Yeah. What do you have? 17 points in game 2?
Yeah, and he was great. I think he had a bad turnover near the end, but he was great basically the whole game. Kyrie was mid to poor. He shot 7 of 18, but he finished 2 of 8 in the second half. Because like normally he'll take over the second half, and he just didn't. I was waiting on it. The Mavs were hovering and waiting, and then just he never took it. So I don't know what's going on. He's way in his head.
I think that's part of it. Going back to your, I had the Warriors thought as well, watching, I think it was in like the 17, that might have been the 18 finals against the Cavs. The one where LeBron tries to go close out KD, and he like kind of slips on the floor. KD runs in to get a dunk. But the Celtics ball movement, and especially with the number of threes that they're shooting, it kind of resembles that Warriors team. Like it's so fast paced, they're all athletic, and it almost just feels like they're 2 seconds ahead of reality. Like they're moving the ball so quickly. Like everybody's in sync, right? The collective. It's beautiful basketball.
It really is.
It's super hard to defend.
Every time the Mavericks double or switch, they're chasing. And what's cool, and kind of on that, is everyone seems like they have the green light.
Right.
Everyone's allowed to shoot. I mean, like Tatum's not really. You were right. He's not really an alpha. He's kind of a 1B. He's been horrible. He's what was he, 6 for 22? Okay, so he's 12 for 38 in the series so far. He's shooting below 30. Quick math, below 33%. But they're moving the ball. It's not just him. Your boy Drew Holiday. He's playing lights out. It's amazing.
He's insane. And even the guys like, what's his name, Hauser?
Oh yeah, good minutes.
He's usually the shooter. He played well in game 1. He didn't hit a bucket in game 2. I think Pritchard had a couple. But kind of to your point, everyone has the green light. Like it doesn't really matter if 1 or 2 guys are off for them because they're going to have 2 or 3 other guys who are on. Like the percentages are going to play themselves out. And the fact that they shoot 43s a game is like they hit that number like on the dot. Like somewhere from 39 to 41. It's like they got the game plan down. So
they're running a great system.
Yeah, I mean it is what it is. We knew that they were going to be this good. What's the keys to change? Like what do we have to do to counter this thing, to give it a chance?
I think 2 players definitely need to step up. Kyrie is an obvious, you need your second best player.
Right.
Slip up there to be your second best player. And then Lively has been bad or non-existent. I thought he was going to be the most important player, like a key cog in the series. And he early foul trouble game 1, non-existent game 2. I mean, Gafford played great game 2.
Yeah.
If Gafford and Lively play, if you got 48 minutes from the center position like Gafford played, you win that game most likely. And so those are the two keys that I see, because I don't see it like, you hit the 3-pointer off the backboard at the buzzer, and you have some bad turnovers, but like with 8 minutes to go, the Mavs were down 7. I'm like, all right, we're in this game. But then it's bad turnover, Celtics 3. Bad turnover, Celtics 3. It is 14 points again. And then down 5 with a minute left. You're like, okay, we're still in this game. And that's the foul/block on PJ Washington.
Yeah.
You're there. You just got to execute. And so it's not like the Mavs. I mean, they got ran off the floor game 1 on an unreal shooting night by the Celtics, but it's not like they're far away. So they just got to learn to pull these games out, which is, I thought was going to be, and what everyone thought would be, the strength of the Mavericks to pull out close games.
Right. The guy that I'd like to see get a little bit more playing time is Exum. He's nothing crazy, but there's been something about like his flow and his energy when he gets on the floor. Like he's only played like 8 to 10 minutes per game, but when he's on the court, I for some reason feel comfortable. I'm like, I think that he's going to do good things when he's in there. I'd like to see him get a little bit more playing time, and then I guess what's his name? I always forget his name. Junior, our guy, Tim Hardaway.
Tim Hardaway.
I guess he's easy to forget. I guess he's just not going to play at all.
He's shooting so bad. I mean, you might need to throw him out there just because you need some shooting, but he's been, I mean, was it last series where he went brick and then off the side of the backboard from the corner? You're like, never mind.
I guess he's just going to be essentially non-existent, but yeah, Kyrie's got to get his 30. Luka's got to keep being Luka. I'd like to see Exum. And then, your two guys, Lively and Gafford. Gafford's doing his part. So if Lively can get 10, if he can get 10 to 12 points, that's solid.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be, we're going to have to average 110 points to be able to be competitive, because they're not going to shoot 25% from 3 every game.
Nah. Everything goes back to the mean eventually. Who's your early MVP of the series? 2 games in.
Probably say Jaylen Brown. I think obviously Drew Holiday had the best game too. Brown had game 1, but I think he's going to probably be the most consistent. That's if the Celtics close it out. Obviously, if the Mavs were to win, it'd be Luka.
It would almost have to be Luka.
Yeah, I mean Luka, or unless somehow Kyrie goes 2016 Kyrie on us, and he gets 40 points the next 3 games, and somehow we win it in 7.
Well, we're desperate for it. Please.
Absolutely.
So I have currently have Drew Holiday as my early MVP, but I just like him a lot.
I mean, I think there was some argument that he should have got the MVP in the Eastern Conference Championship, but
boy, you think the Bucks, they trade him to Portland thinking, okay, at least we're getting him out of the conference, and then Portland immediately ships him to Boston. It's like, oops.
That was, I mean, they knew that was an insane move. I didn't like it at the time because I'm big on Holiday, and a lot of people that I talk shop with were like, well, you want Dame. And I'm like, yeah, but Dame's on the back end of his career, man. Like, Dame Lillard is great, and maybe they end up winning one, but now that they have Doc, for sure they're not going to win one.
So were you at game 2? Tell us more.
Yeah, man. I was at game 2. So I got a little layover in Boston right now. I had the family trip to Florida, and then it's pretty cool week for me. I'm going to the U.S. Open this weekend.
Let's go.
So I was like, hey, why not? I'm already on a sports kick. Let's take a long layover to the Boston airport. Gave me a reason to go to game 2. So, yeah, man. Got to see TD Garden. Interesting place. It's kind of like inside of a building, or it's like adjacent to a building.
Interesting.
And then the way you access it is, I took the train there. So the train station literally like runs into the lobby level of TD Garden.
Oh, nice.
So like you hop out of the train. It's kind of like the train in American Airlines, but imagine like you get off and walk through a tunnel, and then you're like in the lobby.
Well, it probably makes more sense because you have more cold weather there. You know, it doesn't really get severe here where you even need it to go straight in.
It's to the point where you could just, you wouldn't have to go outside. I guess I didn't think about that. If it's super cold outside, you wouldn't have to walk outside. But
brilliant.
Yeah, man, cool experience. I got to go in there early. Or anybody can go in there early, but I went there like an hour and a half early. And what's cool is they let you walk down the first couple rows. So I got to see like Luka warm up. I got to see Tatum do his thing, and then I saw my dude Mark Cuban. So
good guy.
I was about like 5 feet from him, so that was cool. But yeah, man, just kind of relaxing. Have you convinced yourself to go to a game in Dallas yet?
I have not. We'll see how, because my wife is out of town. I know my wife's out of town. Well, she has a conference, but like in Arlington, but she has to stay. So I will be home with the boys for game 3. Mm-hmm. I might see if Greg wants to hang out. Depends on how we feel tomorrow. But then yeah, maybe game 4. We'll see how game 3 goes.
Yeah. What day is game 4?
Game 4 is Friday, so it's Wednesday, Friday, and then Sunday back in Boston. Boston. So maybe you can go back to Boston on Sunday. Now, are you seeing all the US Open, or how many days are you going out there?
So we got tickets for 2 days. So Friday and Sunday. So I get to see Sunday, which is cool. And
that's great.
Tickets are relatively cheap, man. Like it wasn't much to get in there. I think it was like $50 a day or something like that. But
that's great.
Yeah, so we're gonna go Friday, and then we're going to go play at a course somewhere out there on Saturday. I think it's an hour outside of town, outside of Raleigh. And then we'll be back there on Sunday. So,
you want to make some picks on that?
Let's do it.
So, the favorite is Scotty. Of course. Second is Rory, which is, due to gambling, not necessarily due to results. Schauffele, your boy, tied for third. DeChambeau, third. Victor Holland, fourth. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth. Ludwig Aberg is sixth, along with Colin Morikawa, and Koepka runs out along with Rahm. So that's your kind of top 8. So I saw some fun stuff. This is going to be a real tough course. So I'm going to go, I don't know if you saw the video, but they were dropping the ball on the green and it just rolls away. The greens are nasty, which is what I like about the U.S. Open, is it's the hardest tournament there is. Having said that, man,
I don't think it's going to be Schauffele. I think that one major for him, it almost kind of felt like a dirt championship. Like I think that's enough for him. Yeah. If he never gets another one in his career, he's not going to care.
Right.
And
he got over the hump.
Obviously, I've never talked to the guy, but that's just kind of how we run things. I kind of got a feeling it might be one of these live guys.
Oh, you think it's a turn for live?
I think it's a live turn. I do think Tiger's playing, right?
Allegedly. Let me see here, because his odds are going to be real low.
Practice rounds. I'm going to go, he slipped up on it last year.
125-1 for Tiger, by the way.
I'm going to go Ricky Fowler wins it.
Ooh, he's also 125-1. Has not been playing well, but hey, every tournament's a new tournament.
I'm going to go Ricky Fowler, and then, Ricky Fowler's going to be my 1B. My 1A is just going to be the live. Live golf. I'm just going to say somebody from Live wins it. And it's an awkward press conference again.
Oh, don't you love those? I'm going to go Bryson. He's been close the last couple, falling apart.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Bryson. It's the big swing. Big swing.
Dude can freaking launch the driver.
And on a tough course like this, that distance might save him a shot or two, which is kind of what I've learned. So I've set up my golf room.
Heck yeah.
And it's asking me what my driving distance is. And it's like, 210 to 230. They're like, okay, you should play on the white tees. I'm like, okay. And I've been playing like 2 over, 4 over through 18. Now, they're assuming 2 putting, but I'm like, man, maybe I should just play from the white tees.
Yeah. It's definitely funner. That's the couple times I've shot. The one time I shot, a couple times I've shot in the 80s have been from the white tees. I had one from the blue tees. That was in the 80s, but I don't know, man. A lot of people make fun of you for that, you know.
I know, and I don't know why. Just let me get a good score.
I got a friend who's been challenging me to play from the tips.
Rude.
And I referred him to Cat Williams. Said, you know, you don't get anything more for that. So
no, I paid the same amount.
No, it is what it is. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Shout out Cat Williams. Big fan.
Yeah.
All right, so I've got a lot of changing gears. I got a lot of time this summer in between projects. I say that. I really don't. But I think I do, which is a trap. Philosopher's trap of thinking you have more time than you do. It's fleeting. Time is fleeting. But I've been watching some different movies and documentaries. I started Curb Your Enthusiasm. Pretty funny. Nice. But it got me thinking about, man, what are some of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life? Now there is a mathematical equation to this. It's not like, man, just this movie sucked. It's got to be like, if it's a cheap movie, it's a cheap movie. Like the Godzilla movies going in, I know they're going to be cheap Godzilla movies. It's fine.
Yeah.
So this is a mixture. My equation is anticipation times hype divided by results. So how much I wanted to see this movie, how much this movie was hyped versus what I actually got. So these are the 5 movies that I think are the worst movie I've ever seen. 5 worst movies I've ever seen, in no particular order. The first one, let me pull up a little. Batman and Robin is the 1997 film Batman and Robin. Are you aware of this one?
I've seen it. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger, George Clooney. Let's see, that's the wrong one. Stop sharing.
That's a lot of hype.
It was so much hype, so many good actors and actresses. That's the one right there. Yeah. So, George Clooney, Chris O'Donnell, obviously. Arnold Schwarzenegger, you had Uma Thurman, you had good actors and actresses. The plot was horrible. It was just awful. George Clooney was an awful Batman. It was, there was Bane in there, but he was weird. And, I don't know, Poison Ivy, I don't know. It's just a crappy movie. You think like, oh, this is going to be a great movie going into it with all the actors and actresses. But no, just horrible. Just horrible. So that's my number one of my worst movies. The second one, I saw this one in theaters, and I regret, every minute of it. It was Pain and Gain, starring Mark Wahlberg. Well, it's got The Rock, Mark Wahlberg. It was directed by Michael Bay, and he was real hot at the time for all the Transformers movies.
Right.
And I love Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. And I love The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Like, could have been Tony Shalhoub was in there, some other guys. I'm like, oh man, I've heard a lot of these actors. It was a bag of nothing. It was not funny when it was trying to be funny. It was not serious when it was trying to be serious. It didn't know whether it was a comedy or a drama. It didn't know anything. It was just, I don't know. It just so bad that I don't know. It was, what's the word I'm looking for? Just a royal waste. It was a royal waste of my time and my money. And rarely do I get out of a movie going, wow, that was a royal waste of my time and my money. So that's my number 2, Pain and Gain. Number 3, this one's controversial, but I don't care. It's this movie right here.
Oh, dude, really?
Movie was trash. The original. Super hyped. Super anticipation. I got boring blue Pocahontas.
I'm not going to disagree with you. I will say the hype was for sure. Like, I mean, they said it took them 10 years to make that.
Yeah.
Or maybe the concept or something like that.
It wasn't that good.
It was not as good. I don't remember a lot from it. I just remember weirdly being attracted to a blue avatar for the first time in my life.
I don't know my feelings.
The Zoe one. So, whatever her name is.
That is a fair.
Wow, that is it's an attractive blue alien. So, but yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, the screenplay and all that obviously was cool, but the story didn't grab you really.
No, I don't know. Like I said,
right there. That's a hot take, man.
Blue Pocahontas, and not as good as Pocahontas. And also, I had to pay $15 for it, and I was just like, "Wait a second."
Oh, I forgot about that. It was expensive at the time.
The 3D wasn't that good. I don't know what everyone was talking about.
Used to like a $7 to $8 movie at the time, even like $4.30, $4.50 from matinee.
Yeah,
and
so overrated. Okay, the next one is also Avatar, but the Last Airbender one. So I don't know if you saw this.
I never saw the movie.
But okay, so the show, we loved the show, my family and I. I woke up to it. I lived at home in college. And the way my bedroom was situated, the head, where my head would lay, was like 4 feet from a TV on the other side. And my brother would wake up at 6:30 in the morning and blast Avatar: The Last Airbender. So I woke up to every morning was saying, "And Aang will save the world." I'm like, all right. So I start watching it, and it's great. Like, as far as cartoons go, phenomenal. No problems with it. Great show. I was like, let's go. Phenomena.
There you go.
The movie was the opposite. So M. Night Shyamalan directed it, and he was hot from Signs, Unbreakable, and The Sixth Sense. But this was 8 years later, and he kind of forgot how to direct. And then instead of Aang, they said Ong. They said like all the character names wrong. They said a lot of things. They just did a lot of things badly. It was weird. And then, yeah, just a meh movie that I was super amped about. And then they I was big into the World Cup that year, and they just like kept on advertising at the World Cup over and over and over again. And so then I finally see it, and I'm like, golly, y'all spent so much money in ads for it to be that bad. And then finally, number 5, one of my favorite worst movies ever. I've seen this movie 30 times. The 2000-something Daredevil with Ben Affleck and Jennifer Gardner. So this was a travesty of a movie.
He's a little cringe, yeah.
And he is too. Like, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say Ben Affleck is not a good actor. He's been good in like 2 roles. He was good in Argo. Yeah. And he was good in Good Will Hunting, where he was the 5th leading actor.
Great movie.
Yes, that was a great movie. But Daredevil, I've seen this movie like 20, 30 times. One of my friends brought it over. Every time he came over from, an hour away, and he'd stay the night, and then we'd watch Dumb and Dumber and Daredevil. So I like this movie, but I also know it's one of the worst movies ever made. Just bad acting.
Bad list.
Bad acting. It's awful. It's great, though. Like, an enjoyable way.
Awful.
Awful. So my 5, Batman and Robin, Daredevil, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Avatar, the blue one, and Pain and Gain.
Okay. I took a little different route since it was somewhat short notice. I went more I went categories.
Okay.
And hear me out. The first one that would fall into this category is Hangover 3 or Shrek 3. I think anytime there's, like the first one's good, they make enough money to make a second one. By the time you get to the third and you're just kind of looking for that, that money draw, like Lion King 1.5, or
Spider-Man
even like
3,
the remake of Dumb and Dumber, Spider-Man 3. It's like, it's going to be trash. No one's going to like it. I'm definitely not going to like it. So leave it at 2. Even The Godfather, which I love, The Godfather 1 and 2. They made the third one 20 years later.
Oh, really?
That's purely a revenue thing. Yeah, it's crazy. Or nostalgia, if you will. Second set of movies. This is my hot topic. Marvel movies.
Oh.
I can't get into it. People love it. I don't know what it is. It kind of feels just commercialized. Doesn't feel naturally, artistic, I guess. And so I can't do it. Are y'all Marvel people?
I am because I got really into the first Iron Man. I had a friend who worked in a movie theater, and every afternoon, I would work at the swimming pool from 9 to noon. I would teach swim lessons. I'd go home and shower, and then we'd go hang out, and then we'd go see Iron Man. So I saw Iron Man 7 times in the theaters.
Oh my gosh.
And I paid for none of them. It was all free.
I don't think I've ever seen a movie more than once in theaters.
It's a pretty fun experience when you're 17 and you got free movies.
Yeah.
Like, we'll see Iron Man again.
Because that was the thing back in our day, too. It's like, hey, what do you want to do tonight? It's like, hey, let's get people and go to the movies. You know?
Yeah.
Third, anything with John Cena in it.
Oh, the Marine.
Horrible actor. The Marine. It's kind of, the whole thing's kind of cringe. People say that about Adam Sandler movies, but I love Adam Sandler movies.
Okay. Are you a Billy Madison fan? Billy Madison.
So they all kind of seem the same to me. I mean, I liked Billy Madison for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Thought it was funny. I think I like Mr. Deeds better.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think if it would have came out now, I probably wouldn't like it, but it was the age that I was at and the maturity level to where I thought it was just, everything was hilarious.
The time and the place. Yep.
Time and place. My final, and this kind of goes with your category of there's a lot of hype for this. And I felt like with the amount of time and effort and money, it should have been a lot better. Space Jam 2.
Oh, yeah.
By my boy, LBJ. It was, I don't even remember it, to be honest. Like, you know what I mean? It's one of those movies you're like, all right, I'm going to leave now.
Oh, it's over. Huh.
I felt like they had so much opportunity, but also you go back and watch Space Jam 1, it's not that great either.
Time and place.
Yeah.
We were 7 or 8.
The intro song, the I Believe I Can Fly, when he's playing basketball in the backyard, that's probably the only scene that I really loved. But it's hard to make a good movie. I'll tell you that much, man.
It is, like, especially when you can't act.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to take non-actors like John Cena, Michael Jordan, LeBron, Ben Affleck,
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. And turn them into, like, decent movies. My brother has a theory that any good Nicolas Cage movie, you could put anybody in there and it'd be good because he just thinks Nicolas Cage is that bad of an actor. He's like, nah, you just put anybody in there. You put me in there, it's going to be a good movie. I was like,
he's not great. So
you're onto something. Huh. You're onto something. Next week, we should do your top 3 Adam Sandler movies.
Ooh, let's do it. Love that.
All right, so I got a couple things left. We got what's trending. So my number 1. So what, did you drink a lot of soda growing up?
Oh, absolutely, man.
What did you like?
I drank the Sam's Choice Coca-Cola.
Okay.
So that's the Walmart version of Coke. So
you did not do Dr. Thunder?
Oh, brother. We did Dr. Thunder. I got a story about Dr. Thunder. I think I told you this. Back in my childhood home, there was one time somebody dropped a 2-liter bottle of Dr. Thunder out of the fridge, and somebody came right behind them and opened it, and it spewed. It shot the cap up, and it spewed all over our ceiling. That stain was on the ceiling for 15 years.
Your dad just tried it out. He's like, nah.
We had Dr. Thunder, Sam's Choice Cola, and then whatever their version of lemon lime was that my dad drank. So
nice. We had similar experiences. It was always a splurge when we got Dr. Pepper.
Oh boy.
And man, Dr. Pepper, I don't know if it's the fizz is different or something like that. It just hits so hard and so good. And there's something about it in the South. When you drink it in New York, it doesn't taste the same. But if like you drink it in an SEC country, like Dr. Pepper is.
That's the way to go.
It's the So Dr. Pepper actually just passed Pepsi as the number 2 soda in America.
Golly.
So let's go.
Let's go, Dr. Pepper. Is that I would assume Coca-Cola's first?
Yes, Coca-Cola is first by far.
Wow. Gosh, man. Dr. Thunder, though. But yeah, you're right, man.
Now
Dr.
this is
Pepper,
only
something different.
It is. So this is only, by the way, it doesn't count diet or anything like that. Just each individual soda. So Coca-Cola had a 19.2% of the soda market by volume. Dr. Pepper and Pepsi had 8.3%. But like Dr. Pepper, marginally ahead. And then Sprite came fourth and Diet Coke fifth. Now, around the world, obviously, Pepsi's a much bigger brand. But it's really cool that our own little Dr. Pepper, college football zone, created the playoff. Number 2. We're number 2. We're number 2. All right. And then the second thing. So, there's these tribes I've heard about with like no access to technology. And have you ever just wanted to be like, I should just go live there?
No.
Oh, I have. Just let it go. Just go
unplug.
Just forever. It's fine.
Live organically.
Live off the land. Not even that, but just, man, it's something else. So the internet has both good and bad things. Obviously, we're on the internet, so that's a good thing.
Correct.
But it's also got horrible things too. So I read about an article this week about a remote Amazon tribe that got connected to the internet. And so this reclusive tribe, through Starlink, thank you, Elon.
Yeah.
It finally got connected to them. It's a 2,000 member tribe in Brazil. And now it's been divided because in the last 9 months, they've got connected to the internet through Starlink, like I said. So one of the tribe's leaders said when it arrived, everyone was happy, but now things have gotten worse. Young people have gotten lazy because of the internet, and they're learning the ways of white people. His words. And so they're Marubu, I believe is how you say it, and they're a very chastite tribe. They frown upon kissing in public, but after they got exposed to the internet, what do you think happened?
More selfies, for sure.
Selfies.
Wow.
So said many of the young men have been sharing explicit videos in group chats and then displaying aggressive behavior. And so it's had good things in the sense of it saved lives because they're able to contact authorities whenever like someone got bit by a deadly snake or something like that. But it also had negative things where now people want to scroll on their phones and become more like the outside culture. So it's an interesting like social experiment where you have a very separate tribe that has their own customs and their own way of living. Yeah. And then you drop the world in their lap. And then there's a fracture of some wanting to stay, some wanting to go, some people wanting to change, some people saying, I wish for the good old days. Wow. So I don't really know where to go with that other than it was just really interesting.
I would say this, I think, and this kind of, this will lead to my profound statement, which is really just a conversation. But I think, that everyone's the same now. And I was on the train coming back from the game the other night, and I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. I was sitting next to these like 3 or 4 like young people interacting, and the girl was from Ethiopia, and the 2 guys were from Nigeria, and I could have sworn they were from Highland Park, right? Just like the way that they were interacting and like talking and all that. I was like, man, like everyone's kind of the same now. And even like last October when I went to Spain, I was like, this feels like Dallas.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of similarities. And I don't know. I think there's like, kind of like you're saying, there's pros and cons to it. There's probably division because now they have information. I don't know what's the best thing and what's not. The profound statement I had was how quickly humans can like, once we have a technology, like for instance, once we decided to do concrete paving, now like concrete paving is all over the world. And once we learned how to build buildings taller, like within 100 years, it's not like you just have it in the US. It's in US, it's in Canada, it's in Europe, it's in China. It's like the entire planet like learns how to utilize that technology, and it changes everything. And same with the internet. It's like the internet has only really, I mean, we've had it since 2000, right? 2001-ish. And in the last 20 years, it's like, this is insane. Like,
yeah,
I walk around with a computer that's faster than anything I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
So
you can land a moon rover with that thing. It's crazy.
Yeah, you could land a moon rover with that thing. And I don't know if I'd be able to do that, but I'd try. You can try. That's the thing. It's like,
yeah.
So I don't know, man. I think we're a very simple species in the fact that you look at human beings, our behaviors are, we're less savage than we were 500 years ago, but our behaviors are kind of the same. But our ability to like spread things once we have them is insane. Like spread information and spread technology. Like we're kind of fascinating people.
It's pretty impressive how fast, like you were saying, humanity can improve and how we can copy paste. Now the world's biggest building's over here, now it's over there. And it's like,
right.
Whoa.
Yeah.
These giant skyscrapers are last, not 50 years, but like last 100 years kind of invention. And now they're competing on different continents to see who has the tallest in the world. And places trying to come up with cities in the desert and all these type of things are really just impressive.
Yeah, no, I think it's interesting. And I don't know. If you could go backwards, would you never have the internet? If
I would not
what you know now, and it's 1998, and you're sitting there and you have the knowledge of today, and they're like, hey, you have the ability to turn this on or turn it off. What do you want to do here? Here's the pros, here's the cons, here's the impact.
Oh, man. That's a great question. Could I just turn off social media?
No,
because that's the only one I would do.
Social media is a product of as soon as we learned that we have, the first thing that we utilized it for was email. And then it was like AIM. It's like, hey, how do we communicate with people in different ways? Like it's always been communication. And then, for me, it was all about games.
Yeah. Man,
you have to take the evolution of it as it came. And
it's a tough question.
I have no clue what's going to happen. It's pretty soon we're all going to be robots. Like
I'm saying the bots.
I'm ready for that because my knees hurt.
I'm ready. Yeah, ready for the back robot.
Maybe I can count when I'm AI. Or at least I'll have a crossover.
No, or I can guard LeBron in Game 5. Just slow him down, not stop him, but slow him down.
Slow him down.
Get the MVP that year. Tough questions. It is amazing though. The world's a crazy place. Almost episode 24, but first, I heard a joke.
Come on.
Okay, so Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, and Elmer Fudd are running low on liquor, but it's a week from payday, and so Daffy's like, I don't know what to do here. I can't do a Daffy Duck thing, but Bugs is like, we can go to the liquor store and grab a bottle, Doc. And Elmo's like, let's go. So they go, and so they put their masks on. They don't have any money, so they're going to rob it. They put their masks on. They go inside. And Bugs grabs a bottle of Jack Daniels. And he goes, is this whiskey? And Elmo goes, it is whiskey, but probably not as whiskey as robbing a bank.
Oh my gosh.
Episode
Kobe
24.
Bryant. Kobe, now let me tell you about Kobe.
Kobe Bryant.